A very good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this session on India at 100 from Atmanirbhar to Sone Ki Chidiya Bharat, the golden age of India, as a part of the I Have a Dream Fireside chat series that CII has been doing with very strong thought leaders, people who have influenced society in different ways to date, but more importantly, those who have the ability to share their thoughts as well as have an impact and an influence on society in the years to come. I mean, we couldn't have got a better person to have a conversation with than Sister BK Shivani, who is here with us today. She has not only been a student, as she likes to call herself, of the Prajapita Brahma Kumari's Ishwara Vishwa Vidyalaya for the last 12 years, but more importantly, has been practicing this ancient technique of Raj Yoga meditation and is someone who needs no description. She is revered, respected, liked by millions around India and the world. And of course, nothing takes away that she is a gold medalist from Pune University in electronics engineering, someone who has also been through the entire education process in India and has now worked with many corporates and others in her own way to be able to influence change in society, both at with youth and more importantly with others who have been able to make change and actually propagate greater change on the back of some of her thoughts, especially when it comes to how do you lead stress-free life, how do you really look at living values, what are the inner powers and self-realization that people have, how do you build effective relationships. And I think the most important piece that, at least as far as I am concerned, has been really the art of right thinking through the thinkrite.me app. I think the affirmation-led process of bringing about change in thought that can then change your life, I think is a very powerful technique that Sister Shivani has also been able to share with the world. And really, such a pleasure, such a joy, to have her here with us. A very warm welcome to you, Sister Shivani, on this chat. Of course, we have a old relationship. The two of us have known each other for a few decades, right from your Pune days. And I must say that the impact that you have had on society in these last 15-20 years is cannot be expressed in words. As I said, the change that we see, which happens post interactions with people like you, and particularly someone with your kind of a thought process, is very immense. And I think we're really happy and glad and thrilled that you are here with us as we are discussing something which is very different today. It is really about the future of India and India's role in the world. So CII back in 2007, when India was celebrating India at 60, led a visioning exercise when we were celebrating it with the government of India in New York on what India could be in its 75th year of independence. I've had the pleasure of chairing that initiative for CII over the last decade and a half. And I must say, as we sit in our 75th year, not only do we have a lot to celebrate on what we have achieved in the 75 years of independence, but also the thousands of years of culture that we have had in history. But I think most importantly, one of the interactions with the Honorable Prime Minister that time in 2008 was about how new targets and goals for India would be set for 2022 if and when he came to Delhi. And exactly that's what happened when in 2014 the Honorable Prime Minister came in. There were new India targets for 2022 set, not an election target for 2019, but for a larger play for India as we stepped into our 75th year. And today, as we look at the future, it is really being discussed and described as the golden age of India, as you rightly said. That is what we are going to witness over the next 25 years. And our discussion really today is about how do we move from a country which had aspirations maybe 15 years ago to one which has self-confidence, Atmanirbhar today, to really getting our true position in the world as the Sone Ki Chidiya Bharat, something that we will just be recreating. India had that privilege and that position several hundred years ago, and really how do we come back to that position. So again, thank you, very warm welcome. And maybe to kickstart this discussion, would love to get your opening thoughts on really this journey from Atmanirbharta to the Sone Ki Chidiya for India at 100. How do you see India shaping up over the next 25 years?
The word Atmanirbhar, we are working on it as far as the country and the economy, being self-reliant, but it also needs to be taken by each one of us on an individual level. That what does the word Atmanirbhar mean for me? Meaning self-reliant in terms of who I am as an individual. So Sone Ki Chidiya Bharat, which means the golden age of the country. And like you beautifully said, it is what we were. So we are not doing anything new. We're just going to recreate what we were, because time is cyclic. So it's morning, afternoon, evening, night. And so we were that golden age. We've gone through a process, but now it's time to create that golden age again. But when we hear the word golden age, it's not only everything outside, because everything outside is actually created by who we are inside. So the golden age of Bharat will depend on the golden age of every soul, and which means the highest spiritual quotient. Because there is a very beautiful spiritual law. In fact, two we can say. One is Sankalp se Srishti, which means our thoughts create our world. And the other is Sanskar se Sansar, meaning as will be our sanskars, which means our nature, our personality traits, which means who I am as an individual. The sanskar will create our Sanskriti, which is our culture. And our Sanskriti creates our sansar. So three words: sanskar, sanskriti, sansar. Now sansar is Bharat, the country. But how do I create that golden age country? By creating that culture, the Sanskriti. But how do I create that Sanskriti? I will have to go to the micro level, which means the sanskars of the individual. So golden age of Bharat means where every soul will be in its highest spiritual quotient, which means actually very opposite to what we are today. So it'll be like the highest spiritual health. So today, if we have to ask ourselves, what is my nature? We'll say stress is normal, anger is normal, fear is normal, worry is normal. We've called these disturbed emotions, internal turbulences, which create discomfort, which manifests as disease, not only in the body, but even mental health issues. We've gone and called these emotions as normal. Now, this is something that will change, because if these emotions are normal, then I will allow myself to create these emotions. Even in our work culture, we will allow these emotions to be normal. Even for a student, we will allow these emotions to be normal. As a result, they're taking a toll on our mental health, our physical health, our relationships. So whether it is loneliness, whether it's abuse, whether it is divorce, whether it is addiction, it's all coming through a vacuum in our relationships, but that's happening because of who I am here, and of course the impact on the environment and the work that I do. So sanskar se sansar. So golden age of Bharat means we will be working on our sanskars also in the next 100 years. Along with working on everything outside, we will also work on our sanskars and shift to what is actually normal. So stress is not normal, calm and stability is normal, anger and aggression is not normal, empathy is normal, compassion is normal, understanding is normal, fear is not normal, faith is normal, competition is not normal, caring, sharing, cooperation is normal. That is the culture. And so those are the sanskars that we need to create. And so if we just say it like, if we call the soul like a battery, it's not a battery, it's energy. But if we visualize it like a battery, then India at 100 would be battery fully charged. And right now the battery is not. And that is why we're talking about mental health issues and cancer and diabetes and divorce. So all this cannot be in the golden era of the country. You can't have physical health issues, you can't have mental health issues, you will have beautiful relationships, and you will have a very pure environment. So even the environment, the climate change, it cannot be what it is right now. So all these things will be resolved in these 100 years. And then in one word, you can call it paradise. So that is the golden age, paradise, heaven on earth.
The world always came to India, and even today, comes to seek what you said, the spiritual quotient, or for people to find meaning, purpose in life. And if India had that at some point, and you said that full charge battery has come down now, and we have to take it, back up there, while individuals will continue to play their role. How does really society come together? What's the role, say, for industry? What's the role for different stakeholders, right? Maybe as a family unit, maybe as government. How do we make it happen? Right? How do we charge that battery, back up?
If we see in the last 25 years, okay, so what happened was our focus was on performance, which was extremely important because in every era, whether it was education, whether it was work, it was about achievement, it was about performance. And in the last 25 years, we've got so much technology, which we did not have 25 years back. And suddenly we were connected globally, we were traveling. I mean, there's so much that has happened in the last 25, 30 years, which as a society has made us a performance-centric society. So right from school, not just at the work level, but right from school, we are a performance-centric society because performance is important. But performance is not everything, and performance is not success. Performance is one part of success. But today we call performance as success. So even if we just go to school, someone who comes first or tops in their class, it doesn't matter if the person is egoistic, it doesn't matter if the person doesn't share with others, it doesn't matter if the person is aggressive. That child will be called as successful, will be awarded, will be appreciated, will be endorsed by everybody. And then there's another child who's not done very well academically, but is very humble, very caring. But that child is labeled as a failure. He didn't do well. He's a failure. So parents will call him a failure, teachers will call him a failure, his friends will call him a failure, and very soon he himself will call him a failure. So in spite of having very beautiful sanskars, but not being performance-wise as society would label excellence, that individual is called a failure. And someone who's very successful in achievement, but not taking care of their sanskars, is still called successful and achiever and a performer by society. So that's that little shift which is needed, that performance is important, but person is more important than performance. Achievements are important, but sanskars are more important than achievements, which means in school, marks are important, but the child's personality is more important. So as a society, right from school, and with parents at home, if we start talking about achievement, if we start talking about our sanskars, appreciating it, endorsing it, awarding it, anything that's appreciated by society will become a priority for people. But today, children are growing up thinking, do values really work? Does it really fit in the system today? So values are something that are not being valued. So if you don't value something, it will start fizzling off. So it's just time to go back to having both performance, but also person. And if I have to prioritize between the two, then the person comes first and performance comes second. Because if a person is very powerful soul, you can make them, train them, teach them, and they will excel at whatever they do. But if a person excels at what they do, but they're egoistic, they're not able to carry a team with them, they're not able to empower, they are not intuitive, they are not compassionate, then you really can't call it a leadership quality. You really can't even call it a parental quality. And then the ripple effect, the sanskar from the parent to the children, from the leader of an organization, ripple down to the rest of the organization. So that's the only one shift that's required, that let's start prioritizing sanskars, the person, the personality, which we used to call the character of a person. The character of a person. The other day, I was talking to a head of a hospital in Delhi, and he said, anyone who's a good human being will automatically be an excellent doctor. Simple, which means the human being needs to be compassionate, caring. He will automatically become a good healer because our vibrations, our energies, our personality, our culture, that radiates into who we are. So that's that
But
little
does that
shift that
mean,
we need.
so we need that shift in our education, right? I mean, because
Yes.
education is probably one place where young people spend a lot of time in their initial years, right? And once you're
Right.
ingrained with looking at performance as your metric by which society is going to measure you, right? Automatically, it just becomes a part of your sanskar and probably society. So one is shift in education. Second is the way your family members look at you, when you're not performing, or, are you a great human being, or, really looking at your mark sheet and saying what you have brought,
Yeah.
how society measures you, how companies will admit new employees. So, it's a huge shift, Shivani, that has to happen across many stakeholders in society, right? So where do we begin?
But you know what? It's not really a shift because, like you said in the beginning, it is who we were. So we're not doing anything new. It is who we were. And it's like in a family, if we have three things and one thing is missing, then automatically everyone's focus is on that one thing. So in the last, after independence, our focus was on performance because suddenly, a country which has achieved independence has to do everything on their own, start right from the beginning. So the focus was on performance. And somewhere we sideline sanskars. We only have to bring them both together. So if we start with education, then a few hundred years back, we had the Gurukul system in education. And Gurukul system meant that we're not just learning about the outside world, we're also learning about the inside world. So even a Raja, which means even the ruler of the state or the ruler of the country, would have to go to a Gurukul. The teacher was not going to come to the palace to teach that prince how to rule the country or the state, because the prince had to first learn how to rule over himself before he was going to rule over his region, over his area, which is the true meaning of Swarajya. So Swarajya meant self-management, ruling over the self, which means control over my mind, my sense organs. So self-management is the first step to managing other people. So whether it is a ruler of a state in those days or whether it is a leader of a company today, has to begin with Swarajya. But Swarajya we got in terms of the country. Now we need Swarajya in terms of the individual. Am I a ruler over myself? Unless I'm a ruler over myself, I don't have the qualities to be able to take care of people, whether taking care as a parent, taking care of a child, or a leader of an organization taking care of people, because I don't have control over my own self. So without taking charge of myself, how do I expect other people's minds to listen to me? How is it going to happen? So Swarajya is something that was taught in Gurukul. Seva bhav, seva bhav, that even if you were the richest of the state, you were coming there and doing everything on your own, everything. So today, because we're very rich, a big population is very rich, the children of today have to learn seva bhav. They cannot just get up from AC homes, sit into AC buses or AC cars and go into an AC school and say, this is what the world is, because this is not true. Because then they are groomed into believing that I only get from the world. This is not success. Getting and achieving is not success. Success means to be a giver. So Seva Bhav has to be instilled into every individual. That was taught in the Gurukul. So what has changed in the education system is now we're only learning about the outside world. We need to learn about the outside world, but we also need to study about the inside world. So my inside world about thoughts, feelings, emotions, sanskars has to be part of curriculum, has to be part of
Yeah,
my education. Yeah.
and they have to be conveyed in a manner that people want to learn, because here I think where ego comes in, right? Most people think that there's no problem with them, the problem is with the others, right? The problem is always outside of oneself. And I think by a particular age, if that is built in, it's probably harder to change it. So do you see this Gurukul kind of a experience happening early in life? How do we position it as a country so that more and more people adopt it as a choice rather than it being something pushed down them? Just any thoughts around that?
It's not about pushed down. If today I go to school, I mean, maths, science, history, geography, literature, languages, it's something that's part of my curriculum, right? I don't have much choice in that. It is something that I have to study. Whether I use it for the rest of my life or no, I may not have used a lot of my subjects today after my schooling or after my college. Okay, apart from that, we did sports, we did elocution, we did drama, we did so many things in school. We even did art, culture, knitting. We actually do everything in school. And so much of it we don't use, but it does become a part of our personality. But what about sanskars, which is going to be used by every individual, irrespective of which profession they choose or what they choose to become? So that's something that we're not talking about. So once we start that Gurukul system, it is not something that will be imposed on. It will be a part of everybody's education system. And I think we will adopt to it very easily because we will enjoy becoming that.
Yeah. No, I think there's tremendous power in that kind of a shift, happening where people then how much they use it, automatically they will start using more and more of it when the time comes,
Actually,
in that sense.
because you don't have to use it, you are going to become it. It's like, suppose if I learn Seva Bhav in school, I don't have to use it. It will become a part of my personality. If I learn that, Tyag, Tapasya, which means meditation, if I learn sacrifice, if I learn giving up something that I have for somebody, it will come natural because as a child, it comes natural to you. It is not imposed on you. And it is there today also in a lot of schools. It is there in a lot of schools where these things are taught. And then the child grows up understanding that this is the way to live. For a child, whatever we are teaching them at that age, they are just absorbing it, understanding that this is the way to be. Whatever the parents are going to teach them and what the school is going to teach them is who they're going to become. So that's the most powerful place to start. Bharat is a country where people from all over the world came to the universities of this country, right? And that's what we used to hear in the history books. No, that's what we studied. And today, so many children are just waiting. Oh, I'm waiting to finish school because I want to go to the university outside the country. There's nothing wrong in going outside. I mean, that's not a question mark on that. But the question is that this country is so rich in its culture that by India at 100, that cycle will repeat and people from other countries will want to come back to Bharat, to come back to the universities and to study how to become a ruler over themselves because not many others have those tools and techniques.
No, I think that's a very, very powerful thought. In one of the earlier conversations around how India will, shape the world as we become India at 100, thought was that India will not become a superpower, but become like a super partner to every country in the world in some shape or form. And that will be a true realization of our potential. Also, the whole Vasudev Kutumbakam, India, which has been the base or, where all of this in a way originated, right? India becoming the place where you come to get your spiritual quotient and from there lead, the rest of your life. So,
but why is India called Vishwa Guru? See, why is India called Vishwa Guru? So Guru means the one who brings us out of darkness into light. So that is the meaning of the word Guru. And India is called Vishwa Guru. So Vishwa Guru, which means the country which has the power to bring the entire world from darkness into light. And which darkness and which light are we talking about? So the darkness is about our sanskars, what we have called normal today. I mean, even if we look post-COVID, there has been a huge rise in mental health issues in the country also, but globally also. There's a huge rise in mental health issues. This is not going to dip on its own. Something has to be done for it. So now today we're aware of mental health issues, we're talking about it, but what do we do to prevent mental health issues? Treating mental health issues, yes, very much needed, but preventing mental health issues, which means strengthen the soul, empower the mind, energize the mind so that it is ready to face anything that happens. It doesn't dip, it doesn't feel low. Today's school children, post COVID, I have personally experienced huge rise in anxiety, panic attacks in school children. And there is no reason for it. They don't have a reason why they are going through it. They just say, I don't know why, I'm very scared, I get panic attack, palpitation, anxiety. Now, this cannot be termed as success of a country, right? If school children are going to be talking about depression, anxiety, panic attack, and we are not talking history. When we were in school, so you and me 30 years back, we did not have any child in our school talking about anxiety, depression. These words were like anxiety, so I don't think I knew that word 30 years back. Depression was rarest of rarest. And those also we would say, elders in that age had depression. You never have a school child saying depression. So we're not talking history of the country, we're talking our era, our childhood, just 30 years back. So there's nothing much that we have to reconstruct. It's just that we have to learn something that we left in these 25, 30 years.
Even somewhere, I think, the way we relate to, ourselves, our identity, the people around us, the world, one thing that gets imbibed in people very early in life is religion, right?
Yes.
I am a, Hindu, I am a, whatever is your religion, right? And that really focuses more on rites, rituals, customs, and all of that in a way shapes your behavior. But if one is able to really put all of that in a simpler context of, a spirituality or a word, that kind of puts that in perspective, would that really, in a way, shift or in society? I mean, how do you see that, as a way forward?
Actually, the golden age of Bharat means what will be very natural will be soul consciousness. Soul consciousness, and today we will be able to see it contradictory to what it is today. Today we are role conscious, we are position conscious, we are gender conscious, we are age conscious, relationship conscious, religion conscious. So when we interact, it is I am female, you are a male, I am a Hindu, you are a Muslim, I am an Indian, you are from America, I am rich, you are poor, I am. So it is I am, the fill in the blank after that is a role, position, religion, nationality, caste. This is not the truth. This is all important, but this is all mine. It's my name, my religion, my nationality, my body. When I look at this, male, female is the gender of my body. So I don't say I, the head is paining, it's my head that is paining. So who is the I, which is referring to all these things as mine? That is I, the soul, that is Atma. So when we say Atmanirbhar, Atmanirbhar is coming from the word Atma. Atma means soul. You call it soul, call it spirit, call it light, call it power. Basically, just the understanding that this is matter, this is the energy. And it is this energy which is doing everything through this body. And this energy is I, everything else is mine. Now, when I remember that, and when I live in that consciousness, then I am a soul talking to you, another soul. Equality. Vasudev Kutumbakam cannot happen without equality, which means I and you are same. Religion, when we say religion, religion is of the soul. So every religious prophet, they came to teach us that peace, love, compassion, unity, this is our nature. They were teaching us the religion of the soul. Dharam means duty. So the duty of the soul is to be peaceful, pure, clean, compassionate. It is the religion of the soul. We now made it into Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, but they were all teaching us the same thing. Nobody's taught us anything different. The way of explaining could be different, lifestyle could be different, but the gyan, the knowledge, the understanding, the truth was the same. But what we did was, instead of connecting to the teaching, we connected to the teachers. And so we said, I am different, you are different. If we connected to the teaching, I and you are same. So golden age means I remember that I am a soul, and I automatically remember that you are a soul, and I connect to you with that consciousness. So then there is no feeling of being different, superior, inferior, less, more is just a role. Less and more is not you and I. Less and more is just your role and my role. So today we are role consciousness. Golden age, we will be soul consciousness. That is Atma consciousness. That is Atmanirbhar.
No, you've redefined or defined Atmanirbhar so differently. Atma, the soul, and my dependence on my soul.
Yes.
And that guides behavior of society.
Yes.
And if each person does that, Atmanirbhar itself will take a very different meaning. And I think golden age will be, probably for us to all enjoy in some shape or form. Is that the right another way to look at it?
Atmanirbhar means when I remember I'm a soul, I also remember that peace, love, power, happiness is my nature. It's my sanskar. I have to only bring that sanskar into my behavior. It is my sanskar. When I forgot that I'm a soul, now today what we are doing, I want to buy happiness. So we are buying things to be happy. We want to achieve to be happy. We are in relationships seeking love. We're looking for power in roles and position. So everything that is mine to experience peace, I'm going away far away somewhere that I want to be peaceful, where there's no noise. I want to be away from everybody. I want to experience peace. So what is mine? It is my sanskar. I have forgotten. And I'm in my role consciousness looking for the experience of these sanskars from something outside. So happiness is normal. I said stress is normal. And then I said, I will be happy when I achieve. I will be happy when I get. I will be happy when I buy. And then I buy, I get, I achieve. Next, I say, I will be happy when now I buy the next thing or I achieve the next thing. So happiness is no more my personality. It is something that I'm always wanting from outside. And so is love. So Atmanirbhar means I remember that these are my sanskars. I'm not dependent for them anywhere on the outside world. They are my nature, my sanskar. And what this does is it shifts me from being wanting, seeking, to becoming a giver. Because I am happiness and love, I'm not standing like this in front of the world and say, give me happiness, give me love, give me peace. No, it is who I am, and this is what I give. This is what I give. So this is the Sanskriti of Bharat, to be a giver. And so if we look at the paintings, the sculptures, the portraits of our ancestors, whom we call Devi Devtas, the deities, you will see them all like this. Both the hands are of being a giver. So it's only teaching us to be a giver in life. And so their hands will be like this, and their aura will be white in color, which means when you are spiritual quotient highest, your aura is white, highest vibrational frequency, you're becoming a giver in life. And that is Atmanirbhar. Opposite of Atmanirbhar today, I can get stressed by the smallest challenge outside. I can get upset by one word of somebody which is not my way. I am not able to give up something that I'm addicted to. I'm powerless. I'm helpless. I'm seeking love. I'm hurt. I'm depressed. So this is not Atmanirbhar. This is opposite. This is completely situation and people nirbhar, which means I'm dependent on situations and people for being who I am. So this is like this. Energy has become outside in. That is what we believe. The truth is energy is from inside out. That is Atmanirbhar. So automatically Atmanirbhar is Sone Ki Chidiya, which means its high spiritual quotient is Atmanirbhar.
Yeah, and you can only give when you have, right? So
when you
automatically
have.
what we call for developed country.
Yes.
And that's why today when we look at developed countries or the richer countries, people look at them so that they will give them something. This shift, this change, can put India in that position. But on a practical basis, right? Like you talked of, the light. How does one really build one spiritual quotient, right? How does an individual, what can one do on a daily basis? Is there some thought around that you can share as to how does one really build that quotient, to a magnitude? Of course, when many build it, when society will change, but how does one build it?
Society starts changing with the power of one. So, we don't wait, because sometimes we feel, oh, what's the point? Only I'm creating the change. It's power of one. Like in any other change, it's always going to be the power of one. So every one individual who's going to create a shift within themselves, this is a vibrational change. So like you are sitting in your office right now. If you are shifting in your vibration, so let's say hypothetically, it's not a figure, but if I'm trying to shift from, if I'm at 10 today and I want to shift to 100, so 100 is the golden era, which means the soul is completely charged. So Bharat at 100 will be a spiritual quotient where my vibration wise I'm 100. But right now I'm at 10. So suppose I'm at 10, I'm radiating that energy around me. So whether this is a parent at home, whether this is a leader in an organization, radiating those vibrations of anger, aggression, shouting, competitiveness. Competition is not our nature. We are instilling it in every child today. Life is a competition. Life is a competition. Life is cooperation. You are competing with your own self, which means you are going to work hard. You are going to excel. You are going to go and get better and better and better than your own self. But it is so deep instilled that you have to be better than other people. Now, this is what creates ego, which means it either creates a superiority complex in me or it creates an inferiority complex. It creates comparison. It creates jealousy. So, all because someone somewhere taught me that I have to be better than other people. This is where we forgot the sanskars of the soul. But when I start working on myself as an individual, I will work to get better than myself. So if I'm at 10 today, I want to move at 20, move to 30. Now let me sit back and think to shift in my vibration, which means I'm shifting my sanskar from all those uncomfortable sanskars to very comfortable sanskars which keep me at ease. What should I do? First thing is, like our honorable prime minister started yoga. What a big gift it is to the country. Like this we are going to be gifting not just to the country but to the world. So but first we have to start using it, then we will be able to gift our gifts to the rest of the world. So like yoga, now one more step ahead, meditation, which means spending time here to charge that battery, to energize the soul. Not too much time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Sit still, be with yourself, have an inner conversation, create your affirmations of who you want to be. So that's meditation. Second, if I want to become that, then I have to study that subject, right? So if I want to become an engineer, I have to study the engineering subjects. If I want to become a doctor, I have to study the medical subjects. If I want to raise my spiritual quotient, I need to study that subject. So at least 30 minutes of spiritual study, because it is content that's going in. A very big factor in the last 20-25 years is content consumption. We need to remember content directly creates our sanskars, because what I watch, read, listen is who I become. So content is equal to sanskar, that is personality, is equal to destiny, whether of the individual or whether of the country. We know the kind of content we are flooded with today. Now, again, the difference between 30 years back and today, we as children were not flooded with content. So for us, content was just good books and whatever our parents taught us. But today, at one click, a little child is exposed to content of all quality. And what we don't realize is it's creating their personality. It's not entertainment. It's not just entertainment. It's creating their personality. So if I'm consuming content which has lust, ego, greed, jealousy, which is our 5 vices, which we say kam, krodh, lobh, moh, ahankar, then I'm becoming that. Now I want to become the opposite. So I need to consume the opposite content. So purity, faith, compassion, acceptance. I start consuming that every day. So even if we give 30-40 minutes to ourselves on a daily basis, 10-15 minutes of meditation, 15-20 minutes of spiritual study, programming has started. My coding has started internally. Then throughout the day, be a karam yogi. Karam yogi means you are doing your karam, but you're doing it in a yogi stage. Yogi stage meaning a high vibrational stage in an Atmanirbhar way, which means go to work, but don't go to work to seek, go to work to give. It's a consciousness. When you leave your home in the morning, leave with the consciousness, I'm going for seva. It doesn't mean you're doing charity. You are earning, but go with the consciousness of being a giver. Giver to your colleagues, giver to your people, giver to your staff, and giver to the world, even through your business. You're giving to the world. So the consciousness has to be of seva bhav. When you're nurturing your children, you're doing seva. So that consciousness is automatically of being a giver. And then you're not standing like this before the world, but you're standing like this. And that itself is a very big shift. So being a karam yogi means you're doing your karam, but you're doing it with these sanskars of purity, of compassion, of empathy. These are not just going to be words that we're just going to study in the morning. These will be words which will become a part of our personality in action. So as a leader, to be empathetic, to be intuitive, to be a very good listener, not just listening from here, but listening with a silent mind, absolute silent mind listening to somebody. I have to cultivate this. It can't just come because I studied in an engineering college or in an MBA college. They don't teach me how to become that. They only teach me the outside world. So meditation, spiritual study, karam yogi. The first energy that comes into every house is money. Dhan. So the way of earning money needs to have a little shift because there are 4 words which create our destiny. Dhan, An, Man, and Tan, which means wealth, the food we eat, the mind, and the body. They go in that order. Dhan, An, Man, and Tan, which means the money I earn is used to buy the food I eat as a family. So the money better come in with the right energy. Now again, as a society, we're more focused on how much I earn. The priority needs to be how I earn. How I earn. Am I only earning money or am I earning blessings with money? So everything that I'm doing, whether I'm an employee in your office or I'm the head of the organization, in the way I work and the work I do, I need to earn blessings with money. The money needs to come home with the highest energy because it is that money which nurtures the family, whether it's the food they eat, whether it's the education of the children, whether it's everything that you buy, your home, your shelter, is all with the vibration of the money, not just the amount of the money. So if I am not taking care of my vibration when I'm earning, then everything that is bought with that money has another energy. So purity in the way I earn will change the destiny because it's the first energy that's coming home. So how much I earn is important, but how I earn is very, very important. So earn blessings and money will follow. Money will follow because money will only buy everything. It's blessings which will keep you contented. And sometimes people feel, oh, if I'm only focused on contentment and blessings, then will I achieve? Will I excel? Well, just experiment and see because you'll excel more than what you are doing right now. That is certain. With a stressed, fatigued, tired, angry mind, we're creating miracles. Imagine what we will create with happy, peaceful, compassionate minds. So the money is prime energy which needs to be taken care of. This greed to just wanting to earn more at any cost in any way is what is affecting our destiny and the destiny of the entire family. So that's why now we have Diwali coming next week. Sri Lakshmi is equated to wealth. Why is wealth equated to a deity? Because wealth is supposed to be divine. It's supposed to be divine. It's not just currency. It's not just an amount. It's an energy. It's a vibration. So let money come home with divine energy. That's blessings. Food, experiment with a plant-based diet. Because again, a spiritual law which Bharat has in our culture for thousands of years. Jaisa ann, vaisa man. As is the food, so is the mind. Food is not only nutrition, food is vibration. So today we're focused only on a high nutrition diet, which is very important, but high vibration, high nutrition diet. So not just eating anything, how it's been cooked. What is the state of mind while cooking? What is the state of mind while eating? Watching screens and eating, talking on phones and eating, watching TV and eating, distracted eating, not very good for the mind. And distracted eating right from the time we are kids, they will never be able to eat in a mindful way because it just won't be a part of their personality. They would have never done it. They will never be able to sit still and eat. They will always need a screen in front of them. So distracted eating, not healthy for the mind, not healthy for the brain, not healthy for the body. So is second very important factor. Eating, the children should be inspired and motivated to eat home cooked food, food cooked in a very peaceful way, and most important, eaten in silence in a very peaceful manner, because it's that food which will not just nourish the body, it also influences the mind. Stressed mind while eating, running around, busy, agitated, just gulping down something, not healthy for the mind, not healthy for the body. We're just happy we ate, but actually it's not going to give us energy because it was not eaten the right way. In Ayurveda, we are taught if you're stressed while eating, the food will become toxic. And they say it's better you don't eat. If you're stressed, don't eat at that time. But what will people do who are stressed most of the day? When will they eat then? So today we are running while having breakfast. Lunch is at work. We're doing business meetings with lunch, and dinner is with TV or discussing problems at home, because that's the only time where the whole family is coming together. 10 minutes of eating should be like a ritual. Eating should really be like a ritual, very divine, very pure experience, less effort and more result in the mind and the body both. Again, today we are focused on what we are eating. We are not focused on how we are eating. So it's that element which is getting ignored, whether in how much I'm earning, not how I'm earning, what I'm eating, we know the best. How I'm eating, not taken care of. Third, sleep. How much I'm sleeping. That is what we are focused on. So today doctors are telling us 8 hours to sleep, 9 hours to sleep. We don't need to sleep so much, because how I'm sleeping is going to energize the mind and the body. So that's why sleep is called Yog Nidra, which means sleep is also meditation. So if we sleep deep, we sleep right, we need less number of hours to sleep, and we will wake up very energized, not fatigued, wanting to sleep more, pressing the snooze button, dragging ourselves out of bed, and yet falling off to sleep on a flight or on a train, sleep deprived. We are a sleep deprived society today. That's another big epidemic. People can fall off to sleep at any time of the day. Any time of the day. 9 o'clock morning on a flight, you will have people dozing off. They are leaders of organizations. You ask them, you didn't sleep last night? Say, of course I slept last night. Why are you sleeping at this time? Pata nahi. It's because bodies are sleeping, minds don't sleep, because they don't prepare themselves to sleep. So at least an hour before we sleep should be our time. Disconnect from technology, be with yourself, be with family, and last 15 minutes before sleeping, meditate. Again, spiritual study for 5-10 minutes. Don't consume toxic content from the world. Don't watch the world news just before going to sleep. Don't watch crime shows before going to sleep. And these are very simple things, but actually it's very simple things that are needed for a spiritual quotient. Don't have to create some big change. Very, very simple lifestyle changes will create big miracles as far as here is concerned. And big miracles here will create miracles in health, in relationships, and in the work we do. Also in the work we do. If anybody thinks that, oh, spirituality means I will become passive, I will not excel at what I'm doing, they only need to experiment. You will be doing multiple times better than what you are doing today, even in terms of your performance. Prioritize person and performance will always be better than what you are today. So that's the shift in the vibration.
Such a wealth of knowledge in these last few minutes. I think sometimes spiritual study of years, don't really, throw out so much information. And I think what you just talked about, not only the shifts in daily lives of people, but, in corporations and companies and, CII and, one of the whole agenda about India at 100 is how does, corporate India, become the platform that convenes several stakeholders to come together, because large part of the days of, productive people is spent in companies. You talked about so many different aspects in a company that can switch right from, karma yogi and how you enter and how you earn. Shivani, there was a big change in the world when companies started looking at the triple Ps, right? Profit, people, planet. Maybe as you've been talking of house, it's principles, maybe, I don't know, or peaceful,
Yes,
but another
absolutely.
P
Yes.
really focuses on how is that profit earned, right? How do those people really behave, right? And that will shape how the planet will emerge. Maybe a fourth P,
So like
around.
principles is sanskars, no? What is sanskars? My
Yeah.
principles, my values, my maryadas, my way of living. That's principles, ethics. We can call it any words, but that is what it is, who I am here. So corporates play a very important role because every person walking out of the organization in the evening is somebody's parent. So send happy people home in the evening. And once you send them home, let them be at home, even in their minds. So even if we do a simple thing, if every organization would do is once you have left the office, so let's say even by 6, 7 in the evening or 8 in the evening, now after that, disconnect from work communication. Just because we have technology doesn't mean we have to be at work till we fall off to sleep. And if we wake up in the middle of the night, we again check our emails. So basically, we are tired minds today, tired, fatigued minds. And if you want people coming next day morning as tired, fatigued minds, they will still excel at what they do, but they're not happy while they're working. You look at people in the cars in the morning, you can't make out whether it's morning or evening because there's no freshness, no enthusiasm, no vibrance on the faces because they are tired. Not tired because they didn't sleep, lack of deep sleep. Why lack of deep sleep? Because they are at work in their minds, because they are constantly on phones and emails and they are at work. Now that is affecting their mental health, emotional health, physical health, relationships, parenting. Everything is getting affected. But because the priority only became more, I have to achieve more and more and more. So I should not keep any time free. I should be working all the time. So there has to be a time, there has to be a cutoff time. I remember earlier when we started working, we would ask the employer, what is my work time? So how much time am I expected to be at work? So they will say 9 to 6 and maximum stretch it up to 7. Today, what is work time? What is work time? So at least if we start defining this, we will be creating a very strong society. Because when we say Bharat at 100, then you're looking at people who are today in kindergarten, let's say, and 25 years later, they're going to be part of your organization. But today, if they're not getting emotionally strong parenting, they're getting rich parenting, but they're not getting emotionally strong parenting, and they're talking about depression and anxiety in school, then what kind of people are going to join the organization 25, 30 years from today? So we have to prioritize that today. And so send happy people home in the evening and then tell them they're not expected to work till they come back to work tomorrow morning. If we even start doing this one thing, only one thing, disconnect by 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., no phone calls, no emails, no calling each other, no expecting the other person to be at work, not expecting I messaged you, you did not reply. The person is supposed to be with their family. And then people will be able to sleep early, they will sleep right, then they will be able to wake up early. So it is Bharat, our Sanskriti, which knows about Brahma Muhurat, Amrit Vela. So the 4 to 5 a.m. time. Today, people from the West are coming and teaching us the 5 a.m. leadership club. So they say, wake up at 5 a.m. if you want to create leadership quality. But somebody will be able to wake up between 4 and 5 if they've slept early and slept right. If they sleep late and wake up between 4 and 5, there will be another issue in life then, because then they are not emotionally and physically healthy. So sleep is a very important factor, but deep sleep. So disconnect from work, spend time with your family, spend time with yourself, take your mind into the alpha stage, and then prepare yourself to go to sleep. Experience deep sleep. You need only 6 hours of sleep then, and you will wake up between 4 and 5 a.m., which is the highest intuitive time of the 24-hour cycle. That's why it's called the Brahma Muhurat, which means the Muhurat time of the 24-hour cycle. Now wake up at that time, and intuition, clarity, decision making, a child studying, it'll be peak performance at that time. Meditation, yoga. Today, when we tell people meditate, they say we don't have time. We're so tired. We just don't have time to do it. So that's not being very fair.
I think India's Amrit Kal, which we talked,
Yes.
the journey of next 25 years needs to involve a lot of Amrit Vela time as well in the lives of people. And as you were talking about society, being shaped by different stakeholders, right? We've talked about youth, we've talked about young people, we've talked about corporates. There's a role, I think, for government. A large discussion happening today is that, India's economic progress, for example, today women are not playing that large a role in shaping the economic piece of society. And, India can unlock a lot in that. Any thoughts around, those aspects, right? As we move forward, role of women, government, anything else in society that you feel, one should focus on as we move on this journey for the next 25.
Most important is when you understand you are a soul, then man or woman is just the costume that you're wearing. So like now I'm wearing a sari and you're wearing a suit. That's the only thing that is different. Similarly, I'm wearing the costume of a woman, you're wearing the costume of a man, but you and I are soul and we're carrying same sanskars. Man and woman is a conditioning that we grow up with. It's not our sanskar. There can be a physical health difference. The physical stamina difference can be there, but today we've also seen that also doesn't remain. But spiritually, sanskar wise, personality wise, absolutely no difference. Absolutely no difference. It's like the battery is the same, the instruments are different. Okay, so the man and woman is just two different instruments, but the battery is the same. So you can remove one soul from one body and put them in another body, just that. So their man and woman is just a conditioning. We grow up with that conditioning. You're a woman, you're a woman, you're a woman, and then the society treats you like that. But once a woman remembers that she's Atmanirbhar and she has all the beautiful sanskars to create magic in the world, nothing can stop her, not even the conditioning of society, honestly. And the government, of course, teaching us how to progress in terms of everything that we're doing outside. But along with that, if we start focusing on our sanskars, because everything is, so much role the government plays, right, in terms of schooling, our education system, our employment, in every place, if this is put as a factor. So in every organization, if EQ is more important than my marks, okay, automatically the child will start taking care of it during studying. So suppose somebody walks into your office now for a job, prioritize checking their EQ before what are their marks. Automatically that child will take care. So in every aspect, if we start taking care of the sanskar, then as a country, we're going to go back to being very, very rich in our culture. Culture is not just what we eat, drink, festivals. That is not only culture. Culture is sanskar. So it is sanskar, sanskriti, sansar. So of course, the government has already started talking a lot about it, started nurturing in it, but it's just the beginning. And we have another 25 years to work on it. And we will definitely reach. And another one thing that we can start doing is, I don't know whether it will happen officially, but personally on our own levels, we start referring to the country as Bharat, because the name has energy, the name has power. Bharat is a country where every child is given a name with a lot of care. And when you meet a child and you ask them their name, every child's name has a meaning. We're not given names which don't have meaning. And all the meanings are very pure, powerful words, because a name is a highest affirmation of my lifetime. It would be heard and spoken and said millions of times. So a name is an affirmation. So every time the name is repeated, it's an energy that is created. And that affirmation repeated again and again becomes a reality. Like your name is Rajan. So Rajan means a ruler. So that ruler is first a ruler over a self and then the leadership quality. So Bharat is two words, Bha and Rat. So Bha means light. So the light of knowledge. And Rat means devoted, dedicated. So Bharat is a country which is devoted to the light of knowledge for themselves and for giving it to the world. That's why Bharat is called Vishwa Guru. So if we keep on using the word Bharat, it is a reminder of who we are. It is a reminder of our sanskar and sanskriti. And if the whole country starts using this name again, not a new name, it is our name, just start using our original name again. Imagine billions of people saying Bharat, 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 Bharat. that itself will raise the vibration of the country because it's an affirmation.
Wow, wow. Like super partner, I think Bharat as a Vishwa Guru, very, very clear role that India can have for the world. Of course, first for its own people, and then for the world. And that's all it takes. I don't know how our hour has gone by, and we can continue, for so much more time. But I'm going to have to at least take one question. So, with your permission, extend this by about a few minutes. One question is saying it's said on the spiritual path, 2 steps ahead and sometimes 2 steps backward. But to stay on the path, how does one see how one is progressing? A question from Mansi Kilkar. So sorry, but I'm going to just have to limit it to one question. But any thoughts on that question?
On the spiritual path, to see how I'm progressing, you just have to see yourself during the day. Many of us measure our spiritual progress in terms of how much we are experiencing in our meditation. So I may say, oh, today I had a beautiful experience in my meditation, or my morning was beautiful today. That's good. But more important is, how was the day? How was the day when you were in activity? How was the day when you were with people? How were you in your mind? So as you progress spiritually, you will be more responsive, less reactive. You will be using your beautiful sanskars more and not looking and seeking for them from the world. Your definition of normal emotions will change. You will shift from stress to patience. You will shift from expectations to acceptance. You will shift from competition and jealousy to cooperation, because spiritual progress only means that you are energized. So automatically this will shift. You don't have to do anything. It will be an automatic shift. It's like you're taking care of the body. You automatically shift from disease to health. You automatically shift from lower stamina to a better stamina. So earlier I might be able to climb 2 flights of steps. Now I should be able to climb 5 because I'm working on my physical stamina. So earlier I could get hurt by one word that someone says, and tomorrow someone can say what they want, and I understand it's just their sanskar, and I can be compassionate, stable, and accepting and radiating blessings. It means I'm spiritually progressing.
Wow, I think it's been such an enlightening session. So much has been covered. I'm sure we will take different pieces of everything that has been discussed, right from really we becoming more competitive with ourselves and collaborating and cooperating with others. Sankalp se Shrishti, Sanskar se Sansar. I mean, Vishwa Guru. There are so many words that keep coming back to my mind as we look at the role that people will play, the role that society and every stakeholder of society will have to work with to make the golden age of Bharat come back in 25 years, something that we've had the privilege of having in the past. We just have to re-establish that. And you've shared such a beautiful process and path for us to be able to make that happen. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you so much for such a wonderful and engaging conversation and discussion. And we're truly blessed that you could spare this time with us and help see how we together can take Bharat where it needs to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.